Sacramento.
Hello, and welcome to the 916 Republic Podcast. I'm your host, Nolan. Today, I was once again reminded of the soccer brilliance of our very own Scott Waits. When we were looking at the penalty takers of the 2016 NCAA Final Penalty Shootout, Scott knew more about each of the shooters than even Wikipedia did. Scott, it is a pleasure to be in the studio with you tonight. How are you?
I'm good, Nolan. Nolan, you sound great today.
Wow, Scott.
Can I just say, you sound beautiful.
I think I sound so good too. I wonder why that is.
You know what? I don't know.
You don't? Well, I know.
Yeah.
Because we have a bunch of new equipment.
Is that
Yeah.
why? Zach? Wait,
and
who
Nolan.
are you? Who is this imposter on the show? This third man that has not been here for 2 weeks.
I am back from the
dead.
depths of my cold.
Good. Well, thank you for saying that I sounded lovely.
You sound
You're welcome.
lovely.
You sound lovely.
Thank you.
Zach, shut up. You're not introduced yet.
Okay,
Also
sorry.
joining me in the studio tonight is a very, very special guest. You may have heard of him before because he has been on the show from time to time in the
Aw,
past,
oof.
sharing his thoughts and insights about the game. It is with great honor that I introduce to you our very special guest, Zach. Zach, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I still have a little bit of a cough. This cold has lingered.
Do you
man.
really?
Yeah.
Wow,
It's
that's
been
impressive.
Like 3 weeks and it just won't go away.
Yeah.
But no, I feel good. Other than
Okay.
that, which is very minor.
Yeah. Zach's
Um,
not a special guest. He's a host.
He's just a host,
was
yeah.
Being dramatic.
You're being dramatic.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
I'm feeling good. I'm ready to talk about some soccer.
Good deal.
Yeah, and speaking of soccer, this doesn't directly affect Sacramento, but it could. So Veracruz and Liga MX. Maybe you follow Liga MX, maybe you don't. Maybe you follow it so closely that you call it Liga MX because that's
Is that what they
Spanish.
call it?
I mean, it's just MX.
Oh, that's how Spanish is
Emma
pronounces
Eki, X is Eki. Yeah, so
Dos Equis is a drink.
there you go.
Yeah.
So if you follow Liga MX, you would know that Veracruz has been, quote, disassociated from the league. So basically, from what I could tell from the one or two articles that I was able to find on it that explained it well,
In English.
in English, the team was not paying players. And they were on like a 41-game winless streak. And it was just a bad situation. The owner, he somehow
Gave up, died.
I couldn't get all the details, but it was basically like he basically gave up. He was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Something like that. So Rodrigo Lopez was under contract with them. It was already announced that he was not going to be brought back
To Veracruz.
to Veracruz. Like they were already like, we are not bringing him back. And then the club was dispelled. So like all the players are gone. So what that means for
Remind us who Roro is.
okay, so
Rodrigo Lopez.
all you need to know about Rodrigo Lopez is go on YouTube and type in Miracle at Bonnie.
Yeah.
Or if you need the name, it's LA Galaxy 2 versus Sacramento Republic versus LA Galaxy 2, 2014 Western Conference semifinal. Or it wouldn't be Western Conference, actually. They didn't have a conference that year. Just playoff semifinal versus those two teams. Sacramento was down 2-0 going into the half, and Rodrigo Lopez had a hat trick to win the game in the second half. I'm pretty sure he had a hat trick.
Yeah.
He did some amazing things. So watch that game. That's all you need to know about Rodrigo Lopez. So he's 31.
There
31.
it is.
And when he was
Recently
with
released.
Sacramento, he was playing attacking midfielder. He was playing defensive midfielder for
Really?
Veracruz. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think because he's one, a free agent, two, apparently he hasn't been getting paid. Three, he has history with Sacramento. He's a little bit older. He's not a guy that you're going to take to Major League Soccer, but we can say, hey, we'll pay you a good amount of money for a couple years. Probably more money than you're going to get other places. He might get maybe more money in the second division of Mexico, but he's not going to go to Major League Soccer. So if he comes back to the U.S., he's got to go to Sacramento. At least I would think he's got to go to Sacramento. So just to
out for
keep that in mind,
Yeah.
Rodrigo Lopez is a free
Put
agent.
it in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
And
back burner.
however, there have been some signings.
There have.
And
Yes,
it
there
was
has.
like, so when Nolan and I recorded this past Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, it was like, oh, hey, here's some players we're bringing back. And then Wednesday there was more players. And then Thursday there was more players. And then I think maybe
Friday.
even Friday there was another.
It was like
steady
2 a day for
signing.
3
Yeah.
days.
It was.
And
Pretty
people were
steady.
like, "Oh, why are you doing this? Why aren't you just releasing it?" And it was like, "Well, they just want good coverage,
dragging
keep
it
you.
out.
They want to keep people engaged." So
I get it.
you were engaged for the whole week last week, and so far it's Monday night. There hasn't been any signings this week, but we're gonna run through and we're gonna get our reactions of the players that have been signed. So really quickly, Jaime Villarreal, Drew Skundrick, Sam Werner, Shannon Gomez, William Bijev, and Rafa Diaz. Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. Is that right? Can I count? I can count. 6 players
Yep.
that have been brought back. In addition to the players that were already brought back, just a quick reminder: Matt Mahoney was brought back, right? Jordan McCrary, Juan Barahona, Cameron Wassa, and
Another
Who
fullback,
else?
McCrary,
You got all the fullbacks.
no.
Barahona,
I can't even.
McCrary,
find-
and then Gomez got brought back this
somebody
week.
fact check me.
I'm-
I'll keep on this.
Okay,
And Mahoney was the other
Sorry,
possible.
I'm looking.
I think that's all the fullbacks.
sorry. The people are Darius Formella
Formella, thank you. That's the one.
or Derek. I call
Yeah.
him Darius.
So there's 5 plus these 6. That's 11 players already brought back.
No.
Wow, that's a starting 11. And
Kinda.
there's only a 20-man roster.
Depending on who you have at the second center back,
Or
unless you play one at the back.
goalkeeper.
No, Rafa Diaz is a goalie.
Oh yeah, Rafa D. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's start there. Let's start with Rafa Diaz because I was pretty confident that he wasn't going to be brought back.
Yeah.
I thought that just his player mindset was going to be, I'm going to go where they want me. I had my chance here. They brought in somebody to play over me.
Twice.
Well,
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. Are you guys surprised to see Rafa Diaz back?
I was, yeah. We talked in the previous episode. We just didn't expect him. There was nothing exceptional about him. When he did play, he wasn't convincing. And so I didn't anticipate it, but I believe I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I was showing them
Yeah.
my fantasy football score and I lost. I lost by
totally
like
lost it.
14.
oh, it's over. Okay.
Yeah, the game's over.
Okay, gotcha.
I lost by like 14, but there was like a small chance that I was going to come back, but it didn't
happen.
happen. That's okay.
So
I had a
in
good
playoffs,
season.
guys.
Yeah.
Lost train of thought.
Anyway, Rafa Diaz. Long story short, I am surprised that he's back, but I'm not upset because he never really played.
I am not. I liked Rafa Diaz. I thought that Rafa Diaz played well. And I think when you're talking about a goaltender and you're saying things like there wasn't anything that stood out, like there wasn't anything exceptional, it's like, well, that means that he's probably doing his job. Like that and for me, honestly, watching him play, like I thought he played well and I was impressed with
So
him.
could you tell me what he did that you thought he did well?
There was a stretch in the middle of the season between Cohen and Shuttleworth where he played like half a dozen games.
I think he played 3.
Really?
Yeah,
it was only 3.
Because I was like, oh, he only played 2 games, and then I saw he played like 3 or 4, and I was like, what?
I think one
I
was-
don't
he
I don't
played the
remember
cup
him.
games when
So-
Cohen was here.
So he played the Fresno Open Cup game, I'm pretty sure, and then he played the San
Reno?
Jose.
Reno?
Well, Reno was before that.
Oh.
So keep talking. Let me figure this out.
Well, I mean, then maybe I don't know. Maybe that I don't remember as clearly, but my initial reaction bringing Rafa Diaz back is good. I'm glad. I like having him on the team, and I don't see them rolling with him as a starter. So bringing him back means he's our backup, and I think he's a great backup. I think that's a solid backup at the USL level.
Yeah, I think there is something to what you said about, well, the fact that we don't remember anything notable from his starts is account for him because it just means he did his job. I think there is something to that. But I also think that like the goalkeeper position is just something that is not only on this podcast, but in the soccer world, kind of a mystery. And so we can see an exceptional save and say, wow, that was a great save. Or like see a goalkeeper who's very good with the ball at their feet and say, oh, they could, they're the sweeper keeper or whatever. But we have a hard time like really providing good thought on.
Yeah,
on
it is a
players
very
who
like
play that
nuanced position.
Yeah, and so I think that's just where my like limit in knowledge of goalkeeping kind of just like, oh, okay, Rafa Diaz,
Yeah.
cool. I don't, yeah, like
yeah,
you said,
and
I
we've
guess so.
said that before.
yeah,
I think the games in the league that I remember Rafa Diaz playing, I don't think we won. Number one,
El Paso was one of them. I know.
El Paso was one of them, and I think that he was, and I said this before. I've said this before on the show, so we're not gonna belabor it. But he's just not as good with the ball at his feet. So is Bobby Shuttleworth. I think his reaction time's a little bit slow. So that's just me.
Yeah. One thing looking
alright.
at this list of players, though, is that in the wide positions, the list of players signed in the past week since December 3rd, but then the players signed before that too, there are a lot of players that play in the wide positions on the wing or at the fullback position, but not a lot down the center of the pitch. The only one that stands out to me as exceptional in the center of the pitch is Cameron Iwasa. And everyone else, Sam Warner, even Juice Kundrick is like, okay, like, he's a midfielder.
So really quick, just to go back to Rafa Diaz, 6 games played, 540 minutes, so he played all 90,
Okay.
right? Goalkeeping, okay, I'm just glancing at the stats. 2 clean sheets. That's not great.
Well,
He has a save rate of 64%, which is good, but it's not like you want to be in the 70s. Like if you look at like the league charts, like Josh Cohen, when he had all those amazing, he was like 78% save percentage or something like that. Like it was crazy big up there.
Okay, well then let me clarify here. What I don't see Rafa Diaz taking the starting position. Okay,
That's why I'm saying like I don't know why
so-
he came back. Like
okay, you're talking from like his personal perspective. Like,
So-
why did you, Rafa Diaz, choose to come back?
so both. Like I didn't see anything in him that was like, wow, you're a really good player. I could see you starting, which leads to my second opinion. Why would you come back if you're not getting the praise of like, hey, look, we legitimately see you as a starter? Why would you come back? And words are quieter than actions. If the club wanted to make Rafa Diaz a starter, they had the chance. Josh Cohen was not playing well at the beginning of the season. Rafa Diaz got in there for a few games.
Yeah, true.
Josh Cohen left. Rafa Diaz got in there for a few games. He was replaced both times, once by Josh Cohen, who we know is an amazing keeper, and then Bobby Shuttleworth, who's just a veteran.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't understand. I think from the club's perspective, if you think this guy is just, he was just rusty and he's a good backup, yeah, fine, resign him. But I don't know why he decided to come back. Unless there's some odd detail about his contract that we just weren't aware of.
Okay. Well,
And
or
it-
he just has personal
and-
reasons to stay in Sacramento.
Maybe, but then
Yeah.
from the club perspective also, like, he's 28. Like, it's not like he's going to get that much better. You know, maybe he's got one more step up in his career, but that, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
well, okay. We've talked enough about the goaltending position. Let's move on to another player. Recently signed. Let's just jump to
The big one. The biggest one, in my opinion.
Sam Warner.
No, Jaime Villarreal, the MVP of the season,
Okay.
as voted by. the
Honestly,
fans
okay,
and
this
players.
group is like is encouraging for me to see. Like, hey, Jaime Villarreal, Juice Kundrick, Sam Warner, Shannon Gomez, like all people.
Shannon Gomez,
that
I'm happy
I
for him.
really
I'm-
want to see.
Again, I'm shocked Shannon Gomez came back.
I'm
Oh.
blown away.
Because-
yeah.
So I know the fans love him, but you have to remember specifics. He lost
hurt.
the start. So he got hurt,
What?
but he was already being subbed off for Juan Barahona. And I'm sorry, Shannon Gomez. I love you as a person. I think he's got a really cool personality just from stuff I've seen on social media.
Yeah.
As a player,
Not quite there.
I think his physical stature goes against him. He's not a good enough attacker to be an out-and-out winger, which he should be.
Yeah.
So he's been moved back to fullback. That's my personal opinion. But he's too small to be a quality fullback against every opponent. Juan Barahona is only like 5'10", so he's a little bit bigger. He can defend against people that are 6', 6'1". Shannon Gomez he's been a liability a couple of times. And when you're trying to win the league, you can't have somebody be a liability a couple of times.
Well, and to build on that, I think a criticism that would be valid when talking about Shannon Gomez is his decision making, moving up the pitch.
Yeah.
He tends to just rely on his speed and his vision. Moving up the pitch on that wing, on that fullback position is often, it often creates a turnover. Like it often does. Like
he's just not. I also just don't think he's as technical of a player as Juan Barahona.
Yeah.
Like we saw Sam Warner and Juan Barahona combine really well together, and I just don't think that's Shannon Gomez compared to Juan Barahona. Again, from the club's perspective, he's 22, 20. I think I looked up. He's 23 years old.
Barahona?
Yeah,
He's 23.
Sorry,
Barahona's 23.
Gomez is a year younger than him.
Okay.
So from the club perspective, it's a good move. He has a year of experience in Major League Soccer. You get a guy that can play both left back and right back. If you need to put him at left wing, he could probably do a job if you're in that position. And just a theme I'm noticing with modern day football, your squad has to be. You need players that can play multiple positions. Look at the Seattle Sounders that just won MLS Cup. That's what they do. Look at Liverpool.
Yeah.
People can move around. You don't have
James Milner, man.
Right. It's not like Eden Hazard. He plays on the left wing, and he will not play any other position.
Yeah.
Play striker in the 10.
I mean, he can.
Yeah, but it's not.
But, like, the only reason you do that is because everybody else is hurt.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, we'll take Eden Hazard off the left wing, and we'll put him as, like, a false nine or something like that. And it was okay for Chelsea for a little bit. Yeah. But the reality is, like, you only want him at the left wing. If you put him at the right wing, it's different. It's not bad. It's just different.
So you're saying the versatility of Shannon Gomez goes in his favor.
Yeah, and I think that's why the club. But again, from the personal perspective, like I just don't see it. I just don't see why you wouldn't want to go out and find a starting job.
I will say, before he got hurt in the Orange County game, there was a legitimate conversation to be had about him starting over Juan Barahona. Because
we had that. You can go back and
on
listen.
The pod, like 2 or 3 episodes. We said we were super stoked about Barahona because he was a really high level player, scored against Brazil, blah, 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 blah. Shannon Gomez is going to be forgotten. And then he came to the club, and it was like, we don't want Gomez to go off. Like, we want him to stay. Like, it was.
Like, Gomez was playing really well.
Yeah,
and we were like, I remember specifically saying, I think Juan Barahona goes up to the left wing and Sam Warner moves to the right wing.
Yeah.
I specifically remember saying that. And we've had this whole conversation about how two-way your wingers need to be.
Yeah.
But maybe that was the plan. Maybe the plan was to bring in Juan Barahona, give him some time to develop, and then halfway through the season, put him at the left wing. Yeah. I don't know. Shannon Gomez got hurt, so we'll never find that out unless we have a cool interview or something. But true. I just don't see it. Again, we don't know the conversations that Todd Donovan is having with these guys because the coach hasn't been hired, number one. Yeah. So it is just Todd Donovan. But
but this is a future MLS team. So a point that continues to get brought up tonight is I don't see it from a personal perspective, which I don't understand because this team is going to be an MLS team in a couple years. Like if you can, even if you've had red flags in your playing style and your ceiling so far, like you have a couple seasons to prove yourself, to get hot, and then you have an opportunity to play at the MLS level. It's like, from a personal perspective, with these players, with Shannon Gomez, with Rafa Diaz, like there's an outside shot here that the club you're at currently is going MLS, and you could possibly be, ride that ship as it sails into the MLS horizon. So, yeah, with the personal perspective, like I totally disagree.
You'd say that they should,
like
they would want to stay at the club because then they have a shot at playing them.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, okay, cool. So I'm gonna ride the bench for 2 years with the hopes of making the Major League Soccer team.
But like with Shannon Gomez, like I don't know that is he gonna ride the bench, and also he's coming off an injury. Like he's gonna go somewhere else and and start.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
At the USL level, but there's no promise of the MLS. Like
there's no promise of Major League Soccer.
Yeah,
now.
So if you're trying to play MLS, like I feel like this is a great channel in which to get there.
Perhaps.
The club you're at currently.
But the club, like, Todd Donovan specifically brought in Juan Barahona to do a better job than what Shannon Gomez was doing. We talked about it on the show. Now, we did say, as we just mentioned, Shannon Gomez was playing really well.
Yeah.
But Juan Barahona,
Is a better
from our estimation,
better left back.
not only
No, I would agree. He's
is
a better left back.
I thought he had a really good season.
With Juan Barahona's technical ability, ceiling that he's shown, and age, he has a legitimate shot at playing and starting at the MLS level.
Right.
If he continues to grow. Yeah. But if I'm these players and I'm trying to go MLS, I don't see why I would leave.
So this is a good point for Sam Warner, because there was talk halfway through the season
when he was hot.
He was hot, and in that Open Cup game when he scored against San Jose and then walked over to them and bowed, I was like, dude, this is a guy that's ready for the jump.
No.
He got cold.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but remember,
people just started like giving him respect as they defended him.
But remember, halfway through that season, we were doing the math. Like, dude, this guy is on pace for like 12 goals and like
assists,
and like 10 assists, or like, or I mean, when it was goal every game, it was some crazy number. And then he cooled down, and we were like, okay, so it's going to be a bit less. But he was on pace for a really good haul this past season.
Yeah, and he had a little bit of a slump. Maybe it was because people were respecting him more. Maybe it was.
But
he
also,
had a slump. Maybe both.
But also, look what is Sam Warner tops in the league at?
Top in the league.
Top in the league, like one of the best in the league.
There's only like 4 metrics. So
crossing.
Okay.
What does a crosser need?
A foot.
No.
What do you mean?
What is a successful
finisher?
A finisher.
Oh, he needs, yes. Yeah, exactly. This is what I was saying all season is even when he was white hot and scoring goals, like, I don't feel like this is him. Like, this isn't who he is.
When he was scoring goals, it was, crap, there's nothing happening.
Nobody else to do it.
I'm going to be on the right wing, dip my shoulder, and curl a ball into the top left.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to cut in from the left wing and slam a ball with my right foot as hard as I can, and I just hope, he's a good player. He can do those things. He
can do it, but it's not who he is. Like, it's not ideally who he is.
You can tell he wants to get the ball into the 18 to an on-running forward.
To an on-running striker with a good foot.
Enid Volson's goal against New Mexico.
Yeah, that is Sam Warner.
That is what he wants to do. Which was...
He posted it on his Instagram story. He's like, yes, sir, or something like that.
Yeah, I remember. That was funny.
So, but I think this conversation is good for Sam Warner because his agent had to have gotten him at least a tryout.
Yeah.
At his age, now his experience.
To an MLS
club. To an MLS club. Yeah. So he had to have the conversation like, okay, am I going to try to go Major League Soccer now, or am I going to stick with Sacramento?
And try and make it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe there really wasn't anything for him, Major League Soccer, so he knows that he has to do even better.
Yeah. And to that point, like, I think at least what I remember reading during that time, it wasn't like Sam Warner's going to MLS. It was, if Sam Warner can continue this white hot streak, then we're gonna have to start talking about MLS. That's more of what it was. Yeah, if I remember correctly.
It was
yeah. You're right. No, you're right. You guys are both right. But it is really good to see him back because because so far the only person we had on the wing was Formella, and then we re-signed Sam Warner, and I was feeling really good. Jaime Villarreal had resigned. Rafa Diaz, I was like, okay.
Dries Kundrick.
Well, Dries Kundrick was, I'm talking about like chronologically. And then the team on like Thursday re-signed Villian Bijev. And I was like,
okay.
But
let's talk about this.
Because here's a guy
this is that like
scored,
that crazy girlfriend
you guys want to know?
Sorry.
You guys know how many goals Villian Bijev scored this past year?
2.
A goal.
Oh, one. Against RGV in a 3-2 win.
He had 1 goal.
And then he missed a wide open.
What time did he miss a wide open shot?
In that game. After his goal. Before his goal.
All right.
So across the season, I tweeted this out. I think he had 2 goals and 3 assists.
But
all comps. 31 appearances.
1 goal against San Jose.
He had the free kick in San Jose, and then he also had an assist in that game to Sam Warner's goal.
Yeah. Now, to throw Bijev a bone, we over the last couple games of the season,
Likened
we're pleasantly surprised with some of the progress that we had seen from him. So my initial reaction of seeing BJ re-signed was not total rage. Okay, when was it Todd Donovan released a statement about BJ specifically?
Oh, yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Tom Donovan? Talking about, it said something like, I'm going to butcher it, but like, quote,
Vital to our goal production.
yeah, something like that. And I was like,
Yeah, I
what?
tweeted that out too.
What? Now that made me mad. Because
What
it's like,
planet are we living
bringing
in?
him back after seeing some progress was like, okay, like if I was
this is-
making the decision, I wouldn't bring him back.
This is what he said. Quote,
Quotation mark.
yes.
good things happen for our team when Villian is on the field. End quote.
No, okay, you can't say that. That's just not true.
The next paragraph goes on to say that he played for Liverpool.
Did he?
Dude, you know who else did? Daniel Trickett-Smith. Where's that guy?
I don't even know. St. Louis?
I don't.
I
It doesn't
know,
matter.
no.
That's the point. I don't know. Nobody cares. Okay? Nobody cares if you played academy level soccer at a big club in Europe.
U23s. U23s.
Still, like we've
That's
seen
even
it.
worse.
We've seen it with Daniel Trickett-Smith is a perfect example. It was like people that fall out of like U23 level European top club soccer. It does not mean they're going to be good here.
But
This is from the press release. Villian also contributed 1 goal and 3 assists during the 2019 USL Soccer League.
well, at least they didn't lie
Championship.
about that.
Like something doesn't match
But
up
it
here.
happens the paragraph after. So but look at his wording. Good things happen for our team. So he can't say he's a goal scorer or he sets up goals because statistically
doesn't.
and by the film that's not true.
But
so
bad
is
things
he
happen.
is Todd Donovan trying to say that Villian Bijev attracts so much attention from defenders that it causes other
Good
space
things to happen
for other players?
Oh
That could
gosh,
be.
no, that's not.
No.
not true.
That
It's just
doesn't-
not true. It's objectively not true.
Hey, I think that this signing is going to give us a lot of great content going into the 2020 season. I am just going to have fun laughing.
So can I offer a point as to why he got resigned?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
He's known.
Yeah.
You know exactly
it's
what
a
you're going to
name.
get from him. And the fans do seem to like him.
so more of a
For
PR.
some reason.
Both
Yeah,
managers
yeah.
seem
People
to
do.
like him.
People like him.
And
People
also
get his haircut.
People get a guy, one guy, guys.
and also because you know him, with whatever coach comes in, you can sit him down and say, okay, these are his strengths.
Yeah.
These are his weaknesses.
Yeah.
Get out of him what you can get out of him.
His strengths are many.
No, his potential is like
Okay,
it's
what's his potential though? Because I've been thinking about this.
so no.
4 years ago, now, well, 3 years ago, he had 9 assists. That was his big claim to fame with Portland
In
Timbers
the
too.
USL.
Okay,
He tied, I think.
Oh.
9 or 10 assists, and then he had some bangers that year too. That's a different league 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and I don't think we can expect 10 assists from Villian Bijev as his ceiling. Like,
oh heck no.
so even go back to the 2018 season, he had I think 5 goals and 3 assists. Like with a month left of the season, he was at like 3 goals and 1 assist, or like 2 goals and 1 assist, and then like the last like 6 games of the season, he just turned it on and scored and assisted a bunch, and it was like, wow, this guy's like finally caught on, like he finally gets Sacramento system with the new coach, and then just done nothing. So like, I don't like it. I understand it. I don't like it.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
How long have we taken on these reactions, Scott?
We've taken a fair bit in time. The only people that we really haven't talked about is Drew Skundrick.
We really haven't.
He's an energy player. Again, I don't think we have seen his ceiling, but I think we have seen his floor.
Yeah.
His floor at times was pretty bad when he couldn't complete passes and was just running around aimlessly. But when he was on, it was like, wow, this guy can make a pass. He's got all this energy.
He can
That's the good thing
facilitate.
about Drew Skundrick is even if he's not doing anything, he's covering so much ground for
He's
you.
a marathon runner.
And then we really didn't spend a ton of time on Jaime Villarreal. Again,
No, he did not. Very
team
happy
MVP.
to see him.
I don't know if we need to spend a lot of time on him,
No.
but do you guys have anything to say about those two players?
All of one thing I think that we can infer something from the signings that have been made, and I think that's that Todd Dunavant wants to stick with a 4-2-3-1, because if you look at the positions that we've signed, they are on the sides of the pitch, and we've signed 2 midfielders and not a single center back. So, like,
No, I
we're
totally
going to strengthen
agree.
at center back. We're going to have 2 solid midfielders in Villarreal and Skundrick. And Skundrick came in and he solidified a starting spot in the last 6 games of the season for Sacramento this year, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, because
Something like that.
something like that. He came in more at the end of the season, and so they'll sign.
Yeah, it might have been more.
Maybe 1 or 2. They'll sign 2 more. Maybe I don't think they're going to keep anyone because there's no one to keep from the midfield. And then they will strengthen at center back. That's what I think that they're going to do. If you would like to support the podcast by giving us your money, go ahead and go to patreon.com. $9.16 is a great amount to give to the 916 Republic podcast. The link to the account will be both on our Instagram bios, in the show notes, and on our Twitter. Now, back to the show. Thank you so much for your continued support.
Okay, so let's quickly run through the list of players that haven't re-signed.
Yeah.
So Mitchell Tainer hasn't re-signed. Shuttleworth, because again, the Major League Soccer, he's got to go through all that. Enna Voltson, Deco Keenan, Aliman, and Bonomo.
Mm-hmm.
Just really quick, anyone stand out from that list for you two of somebody that you think like, oh yeah, I'm pretty confident that guy's going to be back, or yeah, I'm pretty confident they're not going to be back? And Zach, I really want to hear from you because Nolan and I have kind of already run through this list.
I mean, initial reaction, Tainer. I think that one's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying.
Tainer Tainer showed a very high floor when it came to a high level of consistency when it came to the center back position, which is what you want. And he also showed a unique ability to be able to discern when to go up, when to make an offensive move, and he has a really good foot that he also used sparingly and used at good times, and we saw that is a real strength of him. Mm-hmm. So Tainer is somebody that I would really be surprised if they didn't bring back, and if they don't bring him back,
I think it would be Tainer's. I think it would be Tainer's
to
decision.
Be
to not
Tainer's
come
decision and trying to But I would hope it'd be more along the lines of a Sam Warner, in that like, hey, like this is a club that I could stick with. And how old is he? I want to say he's like 26.
I think he's 25, 26.
Yeah, so he's 29 by the time we hit MLS. This is a club I stick with. I get a couple years in MLS. So Mitchell Tainer is definitely the number one I want to see brought back. Number 2 is Kevin Aliman. I really liked him on the wing this season. I wouldn't be like devastated if they didn't bring him back. The one that I would be is Tainer. Tainer's the one that really sticks out to me. Is like, we need to bring him back.
Yeah. So then, really quick, Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about some areas that we think new players could come in and upgrade. So you already mentioned center back.
Yes.
Is there a quality in that center back that you're looking for? Is it height? Is it speed? Is it passing out of the back? Is it just sheer tackling ability? Like, what is that center back needing to do to be an upgrade over what we already have?
I think that we're going to need physicality in the center of the defense, because if you look at all of our fullbacks, they're a bit small. Like, but McCrary, not the biggest guy. Shannon Gomez certainly isn't. McCrary is like 5'10", a little bit bigger, but still like he's small for the center back position. He can play in that position, but he's small for it. And so I think that a guy like Tainter, who's tall, physical, has more of a stature, can get up in set pieces, and mix it in. Yeah.
So
that's
what
gonna
we
strong.
hoped Hansopoulos would be, basically
Yeah.
what I'm hearing. What we had hoped he would be.
I liked him. I don't know why they let him go, to be quite frank. I think Tainer and
I didn't like
Johnson-Poulos would have
Hayden.
been a good...
I mean, so it's not like Hansopoulos or whatever was
stellar.
amazing. He's gonna be 27. If you're thinking, okay, we want a gamer, we want a winner at this position.
Yeah.
Harris, that's not you. Sorry, like go find. I don't know. I don't
Remember-
think if Hansopoulos was the guy, then he would have shown it this year. He would have won the starting job. He didn't. He didn't win the starting job, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I think that center backs, you're just going to need center backs. I don't think that you have to go crazy. I don't think Sacramento is going to plays a style that needs these center backs that are like that can play like number 8s or whatever. Like I think they just need to be able to defend and hold down the back line. I think that striker who plays in above the midfield 3 is going to be a very important position that Sacramento needs to fill.
Like Cameron Awasa?
He played above
Yeah, he did.
Enevolson.
Yeah.
They put Enevolson up and then they moved him
Yeah.
back into that 10 spot.
Yeah, well, they tried because remember Cameron Awasa was tried at that 10 spot with
And it just
Bonomo,
wasn't really,
and it wasn't working. Maybe not to Cameron Awasa's fault,
yeah.
but yeah. So Zach, what's a position do you think could be upgraded?
I want to see Enevolson back. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we picked that one up. No one's fidgeting with his watch.
Sorry.
Don't stop. It's all good.
Sorry.
I would love to see Enevolson back, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And I'm not necessarily like I wouldn't. I understand. I understand if they don't bring him back. He's older. We're going MLS. You want to bring somebody young. So the striker position is something that I would like to see upgraded, especially just because like we have all these pieces, like Sam Warner, great winger, or maybe even a 10. Like I'm worried about Cameron Awasa being able to be effective as a striker in the MLS level.
Yeah, so I think this is pretty simple for me. It has to be a number 10. Outside of center back, there needs to be somebody in the center of the midfield that can create. So whether that's somebody better at number 6, and you push the other two players, you push Skundrick up, and then you push Villarreal up. If that's a number 8 that can do that, that's cool. But you need somebody in there to be the elite passer. That's what we've been missing since Jeremy Hall has left. He cycled play so well. He found passes so well. He covered ground.
Yeah.
So like he was such a good player for the club. We've been missing that, and that's got to be it outside of center back for me.
Do you see Cameron Awasa being able to play striker at the MLS level effectively?
So yes and no. So yes, because when you move up in level, like everything gets better, right? So service into you gets better, players creating space for you gets better, stuff like that. So hypothetically, yeah, he can, and we've seen him be a finisher. Like if you can finish, you can finish. I think that's something that's translatable across leagues. It might take him time to figure out the pace of play, and he might actually not translate well to that, even though he does play faster than everyone. Like you can just see the wheels are turning in his head slightly faster than everyone else, at least for Sacramento, but they might not be fast enough for Major League Soccer.
Okay.
I'll tell you one position that I'm really anxious to see get filled is that of the manager.
Ah.
That is a great point.
Because we talk about all this stuff, assuming that someone will be sitting there with the whiteboard, putting them in a formation and
I would
sending
hope
them
so.
out onto the pitch. And at this point, Sacramento does not have that. So there was an article published on the Indomitable City Soccer in which the writer speculated about who may fill the manager position for Sacramento, and he kind of just said like, look, it could be the Stanford coach and it could be the coach at Maryland. Yeah, I think that's great. I think that like they've had success at the NCAA level. I think that NCAA soccer is worlds apart from the USL Championship. It's just a totally different. You get your players for 4 years, 5 max if they redshirt. You generally, your system is totally different. I just don't see that transition going very well, and I don't trust an NCAA coach to take over a team with MLS ambitions. If like I would expect them to appoint a manager who would carry them through the MLS transition.
Yeah, I just don't think that coaches that easily translate to the professional game that well anymore.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is, I mean, people will point out like, oh, well, you know, Bruce Arena, legend of Major League Soccer, coached at, you know, Virginia or something like that for a long time and then made the jump to professional. But that was like a decade ago.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you can do that anymore right into Major League Soccer. To the championship, yeah, you might be able to, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be successful from the jump, number one, and we're building toward Major League Soccer. So I think that's a bit risky. It could be a great option if you really believe in the guy, but you have to really believe in the guy.
Yeah.
And if you don't, if there's even a slight hint of doubt, then I think you have to find somewhere else. The problem is this is such a unique job. Yeah. We're asking somebody that is ready for Major League Soccer to wait 2 years to coach in Major League Soccer. So you really do need to find someone that's like on the cusp, bet on them, and then hope it goes well. Or you get a placeholder, but then who wants to be a placeholder?
Yeah.
You want to find somewhere to settle down. I really think it's going to be Mark Briggs, the U19 head coach. He's already here. He has a history in the USL. He has a history of developing players, sending them on to Major League Soccer. So if you say, hey, do that for 2 years, if we like what we see, then we'll bring you on. And if we don't, then we don't. That's the chance you take. He has never been a head coach of a Major League Soccer team. I think the closest he's gotten was being the head coach of the Real Monarchs. So that's my bet.
Okay. Well, whatever it is, it needs to happen soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're approaching the midway point, the month of December. We have preseason coming up in a couple months.
Like after.
Sorry, all this new equipment,
Yeah.
like we're just like
I'm just
getting
hitting
used to
it.
Clank.
And it's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's nice.
It is nice. It'd be good to see a manager before the new year, but we'll see if that happens. When did they announce Simon Elliott?
That was late. Do you remember that? Because Paul Buckle
Yeah,
left
he
in
left. Yeah, that was
the
odd.
middle of January, end of January.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, we're a month away
Yeah.
from the start of the
And
season.
we don't have a manager.
And we don't have a manager. And then like 2 weeks later or something like that, maybe 3 weeks later, they announced Simon Elliott. So, but that was even, I remember that even being shared as like, yeah, this was something that we knew. We just hadn't announced it. We wanted to do a quick search before we made any decisions. I don't know.
That sounds fishy.
Yeah, it was odd. So, all right. Well, do you guys have any other thoughts before we get out of here for tonight?
Be looking out tomorrow for a special Republic podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've actually, we've the people know.
Well, let's remind the people.
Okay. So tomorrow, so Tuesday, we are going to be interviewing Hayden Partain,
Yeah.
former Sacramento Republic midfielder.
Former Sacramento Republic midfielder. Current Man Crush Monday of Nolan Gross.
Yes.
So be looking out
Forever.
for that in your feed on Wednesday. Probably Wednesday morning is a safe bet
Yes.
to be looking for that.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is the end of the show. As always, everyone, glory, glory.
Sacramento.